Hey, Anime Addicts, Mitsugi here. This podcast is brought to you by you, the listener, and you know what? Amazon decided we weren't worthy of being in the Amazon affiliate program anymore. So, we lost some support recently. So if you were thinking about supporting the podcast, this is the perfect time. You can go to AAApodcast.com/join or patreon.com. Throw us a couple bones, and you will be getting, you get the whole backlog as in addition to the 8 episodes per week. So that's, good Lord, it's like 1,200 episodes. So for the price of a box of ice cream sandwiches, you can get 1,200 episodes of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast at AAApodcast.com/join or Patreon. And let's start the show.
Get ready! You're about to listen to the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. Make your anime addiction worse at AAApodcast.com. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Hello and welcome to episode 684 of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast, the only anime podcast for true gamers like me, Mason, who is here with 2 other fellow gamers. We have the 360 No Scope Queen, Caroline. How is it going? Tell us about your gaming skills.
Yeah. No scope.
I have been the Mario Party superstar 11,000 times. I am so good at that game.
That sounds like a true gamer.
It is on.
Yeah.
And you also heard the tactical cheese king himself, Mitsugi. Tell us your gaming skills.
Bum. As I crack open a, nothing goes better with. Nothing washes down this hentai that I'm watching right now because I forgot to prepare than this watermelon flavored Monster Energy drink. It is fantastic.
Well, we all know true gamers watch hentai, which is why after this show we have one of those for our exclusive content. So if you want some of that, as well as our bonus content such as hobby addicts and after parties, join at AAApodcast.com and be a fellow gamer like us. But really the point of the show is to make your anime addiction worse, which we do every Sunday live on Twitch like we're doing right now, and also in wherever you're listening to this if you're not on Twitch. But that's okay, because you can find us on YouTube and Discord and Twitter if that's still a thing when this podcast comes out. So follow us if you want. If not, just thanks for listening, though. That means a whole heck of a lot to us. We have a lot going on in this episode and outside of it as well, such as the 2023 Waifu Wars, which is raging hotter than ever. Mitsugi, what is the status on that?
Yeah, and I want to say that if anybody here is listening is working at Amazon, baby, come back. I know, I just popped in my head. Send a letter. Waifu Wars. I've had a lot of votes, and for the Elite 8 people, the Elite 8 is upon us, and there is a pretty strong pile of characters here that are left over. I posted the Elite 8 yesterday, and we've already had a ton of people vote. So the vote totals just very shockingly just started to increase on their own again after being down for a couple weeks.
I think that might have been due to a technical thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, but the in the Sweet 16, the biggest upset of the week was 0-2 from Darling and the Franxx over Amelia from ReZero, from 59% to 41%. 0-2 just looks totally untested, like she's just going to basically buzzsaw everybody. The closest match was Makima from Chainsaw Man, just barely beat Akeno from High School DxD from 51% to 49%, which is just I don't know, these Chainsaw Man waifus aren't as strong as you might think. Biggest shock, Roxanne is just still in this over Kaguya from Kaguya-sama, 53% to 47%, but is currently up against 0-2 in what will be a very difficult match for Roxanne, I think. Biggest choke of the prior round, Lucy from Cyberpunk Edge Runners just gets her clock cleaned by Rios Gremory from High School DxD, 46 to 54%, after having won the prior match by the largest margin of victory in the round of 32.
Tragic.
Wow.
Tragic. You hate to see it happen, but good for High School DxD fans, I guess.
And I should say, if you want to go vote, you can go to waifuwar.net, or you can go to our website and click the banner, or go to the Discord and go to the check the pins in the Waifu War section of the Discord. Back to you, Cotton.
What?
And back to redirecting it to not me. What do you got going on with New York City?
Yeah,
Any final calls for that?
Yes, please. We are having our meetup this Saturday, July 8th. Technically, it's still not too late to sign up for that, even though this is going to come out, this episode's going to come out 1 or 2 days beforehand, so it would be a really late sign up, but we would still welcome you if you want to come join us. We'll probably be in Manhattan, bopping about, maybe going to some manga stores. Maybe we're talking about doing an interesting museum of sorts, Broadway Museum, or the Met we talked about, or I talked about the Museum of Illusions or Skyscape or something like that. But regardless, we'll be getting together, doing something fun, eating some good food, and it'll probably be around midday to probably 7, 8 o'clock. So it's a good several hour event. We also did talk about doing karaoke again, but we'll see about that because a lot of people were not huge on karaoke last time we did it. So, and it was just me kind of hogging the microphone. So.
Killing it, you mean. Killing it. Setting fire.
Slay. Some people
just
aren't
we'll see what
confident.
happens with that. We definitely would love to have whoever wants to come and have a good time with us. And us meaning me, BCom, and Frigimon Fanatic. You definitely recognize Frigimon Fanatic for being hosting a lot of our game shows and all that. So he'll be there.
I wish I could come.
Yeah, he's visiting from Canada, so it's not often he's in town, but here he is if you want to meet him, and also BCom and me, and we got a couple other listeners that might be joining us. So, yeah, should be a good time.
Nice. Fun.
Yeah.
And with
that was my phone vibrating. I don't know if you guys heard that.
I felt it in my soul. Felt it in my bones.
Did? Sorry.
Someone's probably actually listening with those bone-inducing earbuds.
Yeah.
And went right through them. A lot of boner talk this episode. Moving on. What are we doing today? Our main topic is a top 10 list of the worst, or a top 10 worst top 10 lists. We are going through some egregious top 10 lists we found across the internet and are bringing it to you to see how bad they really are, as well as a review of Oshi no Ko to see if it's as good as it really is said to be. So a lot to discuss, a lot to critique. Let us get into the big news of the week.
What you mean, hot new releases?
Rewind. New jingle.
Of the week.
By that, I mean, of course, hot new anime releases.
It's too late now.
Anime Expo is going on, and Anime Expo is delivering a bunch of info about brand new stuff we're going to be seeing on the horizon. I haven't dug through all of these because the list keeps on piling up, but I figured I'd talk about the ones I'm excited for, and you guys can talk about the ones you're excited for. So, first up, Natsume's Book of Friends is getting a 7th anime season. And anyone who does not watch Natsume is saying, Jesus, 7 seasons.
7.
Oh, my goodness, why is it still a thing? But everyone who watches Natsume is like, yes, just give me more of that beautiful boy and his lovely dumpy cat, and we'll have a good time because it's just so heartwarming and joyous. And I'm glad I started this show when it was only 2 or 3 seasons, and it was way easier to get into. At this point, this would just seem daunting, but nonetheless, I'm excited. I'm also intrigued as Trigger announces a new panty and stocking with garter belt series, which I've ever seen is wild and profane and very Trigger and very lewd and just there's nothing quite like it in the anime sphere, so we'll see what that delivers, as well as info that the final Beastars season is coming out.
Oh my god!
To finally conclude it in 2024 on Netflix. So
2024.
Yeah.
Does anybody care?
So, I kind of care.
I mean, it's been forever.
Well, here's the thing. I really liked the first season. The second season kind of disappointed me. Like I just lost its luster for me. But if it's only one more season, then yeah, I'm probably gonna watch it.
I'm right there with you, Caroline.
Oh my god, bros. Season 1 of this fucker came out in fall of 2019.
Yeah?
What? Jesus, way to make us
wait
5 years
fucking
across
years. 3 seasons
5 years?
Awful.
Bro, that's a lot.
I mean, it's not that bad.
It's bad enough that I don't give a fuck.
Well, how about this, Mitz? What are you excited for in this lineup?
Well, there is so I was really excited, and now I'm a little bit excited because, I'll explain. New Spice and Wolf TV anime is going to be coming out in 2024. Now, Spice and Wolf, that fucker hasn't... That'd be a perfect example of who gives a fuck, even though Hodo is... even though Hodo's a goddess, literally and figuratively. Because that thing came out in, like, Jesus, Spice and Wolf, I was in college. Spice, like, late 2020s or 2000s? 2008. Damn. But so I'm really excited for that. I'm like, oh, wow, Spice and Wolf Hodo's back. The legendary Hodo, who would probably have won every waifu war from, like, 2008 until, like, 2013. But I'm watching this trailer, and it's pretty clearly a remake. Unless it's just going to be 26 episodes and they're going to extend past where they went in the old seasons, because this trailer includes such content as the moment that Lawrence found Hodo sleeping in the back of his wagon, which is for sure the beginning of episode 1. So it just looks like a remake to me. Hodo looks great though. Her ears are different. Her ears are actually kind of weird in this. Like, bro, she's a fucking fox. She's a wolf. So she should have like very long, intense ears. But they look like Shiba Inu ears or something in this fucking trailer. It looks pretty odd. If this is really a remake, I'm just pissed off now.
Yeah, it feels more like a reboot.
How could you fuck these ears up?
You had one job.
I mean, honestly, I don't know if you guys are looking, but I'm gonna fucking take a screen cap, post it in our Discord, and you'll tell me if you think that these are wolf ears or not. And I can tell you're gonna say no, because she looks like a Shiba Inu. I don't know.
They just look so like tacked on.
Yeah, this is like your naughty anime fanboy like wet dream of his like girlfriend putting like Hodo ears in her hair, like late at night.
Yeah.
Because they don't look real, but it's more Spice and Wolf coming. I don't want to like water it down, but if it is a remake, I mean, it's kind of.
I don't know. You go to like 23 seconds in that clip, like those ears are so just not attached. They were just an afterthought. They just drew Horo, and then someone's like,
"Yeah,
I'm not seeing her ears," and they're like, "Wait, she's got." Oh shoot, I forgot, and like just penciled them in really quickly. They look really bad.
Yeah, we'll see. I think you're right, and I'm happy that it's coming back, but like, because maybe that'll mean they'll make more seasons and they'll go further in the manga or whatever. But a continuation is certainly more exciting than a remake. Let's see what else is on here that I think is interesting.
The OST kind of sounds like it is Kevin Penkin. I knew it. It sounded like Shield Hero a little bit, the music, and I'm like, that's Kevin Penkin.
That's our boy, KP.
Our boy.
So, what are you excited for, Caroline?
Yeah.
Anything here?
Well, let's see. Because I am not really familiar with a lot of shows. Like, I don't know much about Panty and Stocking, but you've already talked about that.
Well, the joke was that we only left one show for you to talk about, which is the 100.
This show looks fucking horrific.
I don't know what this is. I didn't even look at it.
Good. You still have your humanity left.
Okay, let's see about this. The 100 girlfriends who really, 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 really love you. What?
Yeah, but click on the link and look at this fucker. He's hideous.
Look at those eyebrows.
He looks like a Fooly Cooley character gone rogue. Okay? There's no fucking way 100 of these like smoking hotties in this promo art are gonna fall for this guy. Plus in the promo art, and I hate to dominate your like thing, Caroline, but like scroll down on the image and look at this motherfucker. He looks 10.
That's how it be.
He looks 10,
and he's wearing a suit. But let's read the synopsis, shall we?
Jesus.
Aijo Rentaro tried and tried again, but after asking 100 girls out on a date, he was rejected every single time. In desperation, he prays for guidance, only to be told by a god that his rejections were due to some cosmic error. Oh, okay. Now the god is going to set things right by making sure that Aijo gets 100 dates. Except, as things often do with gods, the dates come with a catch. 100 girls are destined to be Aijo's soulmate, and unless he returns their feelings each and every time, they'll die in horrible accidents.
What a Chad.
There can be no hope in this hell. No hope
Sure
at
enough,
all.
girls start confessing their love to Aijo left and right. But how is he supposed to choose? He
that
doesn't want to
awesome?
kill anyone. When he looks at each potential
Oh my
soulmate,
God.
it feels like a bolt of lightning. Can someone really love 100 people? This hilarious romantic comedy takes the harem concept to a wild extreme.
Starring Rob Schneider as.
Death Game Harem. I'm down for it. Let's go.
I
Oh
want
my
to know,
God.
how are they going to die horrible deaths? Like, is it going to be Truck-kun?
I
I
say
hope it's
he
Final
dead.
Destination style.
Oh gosh, if only. But from the sounds of it, it doesn't seem like he will be rejecting anyone. He's just gonna love 100 girls.
And they're gonna die. He's gonna love them to death.
What a way to go.
Wow. But he looks.
addition-
I,
to
I
this-
want to
He
know if
looks
this is gonna
8.
be. I want to know if this is going to be self-aware enough to make it absolutely stupid to make it funny. But if it could be ridiculous enough that it might be ironically good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You want to know
Maybe.
why he's not older, Caroline? If he was older, like if he was 25, that would be a hentai. He'd be just pounding these girls. Like, I love you so much. Okay, well, I'm a horny 25-year-old. Let's giddy up. Like, give me a... But no, he's going to look 12 so that it ends up being like, I'm scared of the girls. What do I do? I can't hold their
I mean,
hands.
if he confessed to 100 of them, he's probably not that scared. I don't know. We will
wait,
see.
he confessed to them?
Yeah.
No, they can. So
I thought he
Or-
got reborn and he
did
had like
ask
a
ton
power.
of girls out on
He
dates.
asked 100 people like a Giga Chad.
Oh. What? And it works?
And then to
100%
make up
of the
for
time?
it, they're like, "Oh wait, that's a mistake. Like you were totally supposed to get with all these girls." Apparently, I don't know how. I really don't know how that logic.
Man,
is
that really
Cosmic
is a
error.
fantasy.
We can't- Doesn't matter. We can move on. Last thing is there was a bunch of shows from this season that got announced to have sequels as well, including Oshi no Ko, which we will review today, Mashal, and Hell's Paradise, which we will review next week. So if you're a fan of any of those, more is coming, probably to no one's surprise, but good news for that.
I can't lie to you. I'm not quite over the Giga Chad. I'm not over.
Well,
I'm not
tell
over
us how
it.
you really feel, Mitch.
I just
Can we?
I just don't think anything could be more based in fantasy than a guy going around hitting on girls and getting 100 girls to fall in love with him. Oh my god.
Could
It's
we
like,
feasibly just rename the show to Giga Chad on the podcast so like nobody else knows what we're talking about,
It's like
but
the
we just
shorthand.
renamed it.
So we don't have to say really, 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 really every time.
Yeah, I'm still watching this hentai for our hentai episode later, and like, this is basically what that anime would be if he was like 25. Just, I don't need to go into detail, but you get what I'm saying. But
There you go.
Oh my god, I think I will watch that.
Exactly.
It's just
All right.
trash.
I think we can.
I feel like
move
you're going to be
on.
hoping way too much for things in this
our-
anime, though.
I think that the 100 girls that fall in love with him should all have to like go battle royale style and fight for his reciprocation.
That's what I'm saying. If they know they're gonna die, that would be intense. I'd watch that.
I'm gonna die, but by God, I'm taking your bitch ass with me. Don't come at me like that with that RBF. Sorry.
Let's move on to our main podcast topic, the worst 10 top 10, which was Caroline's idea. So I will let her have the pleasure of explaining what the heck we're doing.
Okay, well, I kind of thought, there's a lot of top 10 lists about different things in anime, and especially as I'm like listening back to older episodes, and it was kind of Kazuo's thing to just bring up a random top 10 to answer any mailbag or topic list, or not topic list, but like topic ideas and all that. And I was thinking to myself, let's make a top 10 list of top 10 lists that are really bad. And I kind of thought this would be easy, but in fact, it was not that easy for me to find good lists to talk about because a lot of them are kind of like, okay, you kind of see what they're going for. Like, obviously, there are some shows that are going to be on a bunch of lists, even if they are a bit overrated, but nothing that was really interesting that like, oh my God, I have to talk about this. But I did find a few good ones, I think. And so we each came up with a few. We made a top 10. So here is what we shall call the worst top 10 lists list.
Indeed. And I think we all have different reasons on why the lists we found are bad. So I think our job will be to convince the other two and you listeners which of these lists are the worst and why. And if you can think, listeners, of any top 10 lists that you want us to do or things that you want us to make, submit them and we will try our best in future episodes because they're always fun to talk about. So, who wants to start first?
Well, I found 4 and you guys found 3, so maybe I should go first and then we all just take turns.
Show off.
That sounds great.
No, it's really just because I didn't see what you had added, Mitsuki, and I wasn't certain if you were going to bring in 4 or not, so I just threw in one more in there. Okay, so the first thing that I have on the list, this is all like not in any order because I couldn't quite rank them very well. This is the 30 best anime of all. Oh yeah, by the way, not all these are exactly top 10s because people play with numbers a lot on these lists. So, 30 best anime of all time from JW Web Magazine. Okay, so let's start. I'm not going to read through literally all of them, but it starts off with Fate. And then goes into Inuyasha, Berserk, Chainsaw Man, Bleach, and I'm just gonna scroll through. And Cowboy Bebop was number 25. I don't know if they're doing these in order or not. After that was My Hero, then Bocchi the Rock, which is a good show, but I wouldn't say best anime of all time. I don't know if it gets to like in the top 30. Jujutsu Kaisen, Steins Gate, which is fair. Let's see, just scrolling down a little more because there's so much of it. Let's see.
So, like, what makes this list bad for you? What is, like, egregious?
I'm still waiting for that part.
It's all just new fancy stuff? It's that they call Fate just collectively all of it?
Is it that Demon Slayer's number 1 and that's a fucking laugh?
I was leading up to that, Mitsuki. I was just busy scrolling.
So sorry.
You spoiled it.
Oh, idiot.
Okay.
God.
So, if you're curious about the top 10, the number 10 is Death Note. Then there's Pokemon. 8, ReZero. 7, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. 6, Evangelion. 5, Full Metal Alchemist. 4, One Piece. 3, Clannad. 2, Naruto. And then Demon Slayer is number 1.
Suck my balls.
Yeah. So I'm like...
Present them.
In a world full of anime, I feel like these lists just really focus on the shonen. It's all about the shonen. And
well, how many of these top 10
else.
are shonen? 2, 3,
it's
4.
Popular shows.
Yeah.
5. That's seinen, technically.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about
6,
all of them, but like...
7. 7 probably.
Not even just this list, but everything that I was seeing was like shonen, 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 shonen. It was nothing really that... Like, there are so many out there. Why are...
Yeah.
I mean, I understand it is just kind of like what's popular gets on the list, so...
I mean, honestly, if your top 10 list ends with Naruto, One Piece, and Demon Slayer, I mean, I want to sound mean, but all it says to me is that like you haven't seen a lot of anime. Like you're basically just making a list out of like the most generic, like wide cast net anime like you can possibly imagine. I'm amazed Dragon Ball's not on here.
No, I think it is.
We're not in the top 10.
Oh, it's not in the top 10, but it's on there.
I mean, they have all the other like giant shonens in the top 10. They may as well put Dragon Ball in there.
It's at 11. So
the moment you put Cowboy Bebop as in like number 25, I think it was, that's not right.
The funny thing is that Dragon Ball probably inspired all the rest of these shonen shows to begin with, so it's kind of odd to have Dragon Ball clear down at 11, but...
I mean,
also,
if you
Bocchi
were
the Rock is kind of a strange addition to this list. I'm not saying it's not... I like Bocchi, But compared to everything else on this list, it's kind of like an outlier, don't you think?
I mean, it came out 5 minutes ago, Caroline. So there you go.
Well, it's not as if everything on this list came out 5 minutes ago. It's more like
most of this
everything
list
has like a
Most of this list is it came out 5 minutes ago, or the anime on the list are just massive, like Evangelion, and everybody has seen it.
Yeah.
Essentially, is kind of what I picked up.
Yeah, I mean, it's a popular thing, which people like us who have seen way too much scoff at. But it's a fine 30 shows. Like, if you watch any of them, you'll have a conversation because anyone else will have seen them. Like, it doesn't offend me. It's just a little plain.
Yeah. Though honestly, the only anime that are on this list that really like came out, as you say, 5 minutes ago was kind of Bocchi, Chainsaw Man, and
Demon Slayer.
I mean, Demon Slayer's been out for a while.
But we're still in the meta of it. I mean,
yeah, but there's also like new One Piece and new Dragon Ball coming out, so.
Well, and they're on the list too. So what's your point?
We're saying that like I would say most of these shows have somewhat have been out for a little while now. Most of them.
Jeez, way to defend the list that you put on here to talk shit on.
Yeah,
I'm trying to talk shit on your list because that's why it's on here.
Talk shit on some bad lists.
I mean, again, I had some difficulties. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
You know what? I have a feeling.
Even though this was my idea in the first place.
I had a hard time too, so I just tried to find lists that were just stupid. Like, why would you even waste your energy on this stupid bullshit?
Valid. Lay one on us.
So I think I'm just gonna take it right off the top because.
Oh God, what is this?
Exactly.
How did you find this?
Top 10 anime girls in bondage. Got him. It's literally a top 10 list of bondage. Now there's a word that makes heads turn and gets people's attention. That's how the description of the poll begins. In whatever form you are referring to, and yes, there is more than one way to define bondage. It's definitely a subject that tends to get people excited. And the same goes in the anime world. Oh my God. All right, begins with Ezra Scarlet from Fairy Tail, who I still like. I still just like Lucy from Fairy Tail. I think she's the cutest, honestly. And then it's got like all these just bizarre anime I've never seen. Tri-Age X.
I'm trying to understand, is it these are girls who ended up in bondage and then a ranking of those girls or a ranking of scenes of bondage in it? Like how are we differentiating these? Is it someone's like, oh, that knot technique is really advanced. That's a good one. Or is it just, I like this character and she's in bondage, therefore she's a top pick?
Well, the really sad thing is that this list just says a lot. As number 7 is Chifuyu Himeki from Ino Battle wa Nichijou Kei no Nakade, which is basically like a 6-year-old girl in bondage. Like, why? Why is this on your top 10 list?
So bad.
Please just remove this. The rest of this is like Ninja Slayer, and
wait a minute.
See.
Oh yeah.
Ninja Slayer should not be on any top list except for top 10 yards in anime. Besides that, it has nothing of value.
Oh, here's Kallen Kozuki from Code Geass, who got absolutely just roasted to death by somebody in our waifu war, lost by like 80 to 20. It was brutal. She's number 3. Asuna from number 2. It's from Sword Art. I haven't seen Sword Art. I guess this must be like a pretty big chunk of that where Asuna is just like tied up.
That's like season 2 stuff, and she's like molested during that entire part, and it's like weird to have.
I mean, she is hot.
This is a little awkward to have this on this list. I'm actually kind of surprised that they don't have Darkness on this list. I thought she loves bondage.
That is true.
What a miss. That's why it's a bad list.
Darkness,
that's why.
Darkness still in the waifu war, by the way, in the top 8 against Makima. Waifuwar.net to vote. Yeah, plus in this picture, I don't know anything about Sword Art, but she's got elf ears. I'm like, okay.
That's in the second or was it the second half of the first?
She just has elf ears suddenly.
Yeah, they're in a different video game, which is like like they're fairies or something like that.
Number 1 is this Quasar of Stigmata, Hana Katsuragi. I don't know. I haven't seen this anime. The only thing I know about this show is that I think it's very bad. I don't know. Have you guys seen
not
this?
In all aspects, clearly.
It's 6.3 online. It's pretty bad. But the bondage. Jeez, don't even get me started on that. That's my selection. I hope you enjoyed.
Fair enough. That's a pretty crummy list.
It's a stupid list to begin with.
In 1 second, Caroline can critique it, and it just is, why was this made? But at least this adds something to the conversation. Like,
How do you...
At least, no one else is talking about this. At least it gets something going. Like, I want top 10 lists that inspire a different way of thinking about shows or make me find new stuff, not just a weird, like, this is a top 30 anime with every predictable outcome,
Well, plus, Mason, someone put that list together and was like, who are my top 10 favorite bondage girls? First of all, they have a top 10.
How much anime do you have to watch to know, like, to have enough candidates for that list?
You only need to watch 10, Caroline, because what you're doing is that you're looking for these anime that have bondage because you like bondage. So this person has seen 10 anime with bondage.
Search engine
has their own top 10 list that they could just recite from memory in front of Play Company, and also put a lolicon as number 7 on the list. And it's like, bro, what are you admitting?
I mean, the only good thing about this list, without a doubt, is that they were considerate enough to cite the exact episode that these bondage scenes happen in. So readers can be like, oh, I can find that. I will skip the first 62 episodes of Fairy Tail, but episode 63, I'm watching that. Like, at least that's considerate. So I think we can move on. The next one, the first one on my list, is kind of similar to Caroline's. This was actually posted in our Discord, and the second I saw it posted, it was a perfect candidate in my mind for this list, which is the best anime under 15 episodes.
That's a huge list, a huge pool.
So 15. So this is, you can find it on Screen Rant. Just look it up, best anime under 15 episodes.
Oh God,
15 episodes is an unbelievably easy number to pick from.
Yeah.
And it acknowledges that because most shows, single core, are less than 15 episodes. But the interesting thing is this show, or this list, doesn't use 15 episodes to say anything interesting. In fact, every show listed is at most 13 episodes. So why they even extended it to 15 was very stupid. Like, I've seen thousands of shows here, and the only ones that I've seen that are like 14 to 15 episodes are pretty small for like a entry point to a season. You have Haruhi Suzumiya, Ascendance of a Bookworm, some Chinese works like Bia Oren and Maodo Zushi, Bakemonogatari, and Key the Metal Idol. Besides that, like, there's not many 14 to 15 episode shows. So why they chose 15 for this list is weird.
I think because they like a round number.
Maybe,
I
but
guess.
It imposes no challenge. Like, it means they just have a standard list that is just kind of boring. And they say at the beginning of this list, these are great shows to binge over a weekend, which it's not, because they put Lane on there, which is not a great bingeable show.
Oh, but God,
this list is bad for two other reasons. One, there's just some bad picks subjectively, and I get it. Not every list has to align with my things, but having Afro Samurai and SSSS Gridman, while unique shows for sure, I would not put in a top 10 list for, short shows, whatever. But also, this list fails because it's bad at math objectively. Like, a lot of times they will have a show like Bakano, which it says ran for 13 episodes, but there are 3 bonus OVAs that end things more conclusively. Fine, then you just recommended a 16 episode show. That's clearly more than 15. Or they'll say Eden of the East, which, as it says, ran for 11 episodes and then had 2 movie sequels, which are roughly the length of 15 episodes. But it's not, they can't do math. These are full-length movies, so it actually counts for 18 to 19 episodes. So once again, they just are failing in the very stupid premise they set up for themselves and then did nothing with it. It's so
There are so many anime and good anime that wraps up in 12 episodes. and they chose ones that had little asterisks around it saying like,
Exactly.
actually, there's more, but we're not going to pay attention to that.
Yeah, is it an awful list? No, like there are some very solid picks on here that are very good shows that are under 15 episodes. So
Man.
like it doesn't fail in that regard, but it does. You could have had this in so many different ways and had it so much more interesting that it's infuriating.
You want to be a hard ass? You're like, oh, look at all these anime I know of that have 15 episodes exactly. Bro, how about 215? Call me back. Go find the ones that you know. At least pick a prime number, you pussy.
Yeah, at least be ambitious with it. Give me
You little
17
bitch.
episode shows. Something.
Oh my god. All right. Well, plus the actual list itself is bad. So why don't you just run through it?
Yeah. So the list, really quickly, we have from best or worst to best: Afro Samurai, Eden of the East, Bakano, Paranoia Agent, Erased, Fooly Cooly, Serial Experiments Lane, Cyberpunk Edgerunners, Madoka Magica, and SSSS Gridman. Yes, they put SSSS Gridman not only on the list, but as the #1 show.
Get
And
out
I'm
of
not
here,
saying
you
it's bad,
fucker.
but come on, my dude.
Ugh.
Sorry.
What is
We're
wrong
just-
with you?
We're hating on this episode. It's part of the
People-
territory.
Nothing serious, guys.
We're getting, we're just having a laugh. We'll do our real hating later. But
Listen.
what's
Listen, if you're gonna make it, listen. This is all the listeners. If you're gonna make a list, at least pick a prime number. Don't be a pussy.
All right, well, let's get into the next one. This one is kind of short. It's just really dumb that they made a top 10 for this. Top 10 anime characters named Sakura.
What?
And
Why?
so apparently they did this because the spring season was about to start. So in honor of that, they chose the name Sakura, cherry blossoms,
for
of
fuck's
course.
sake.
So they made a top 10 list of Sakura characters.
Caroline.
But number 10 is not even a person named Sakura. It's Sakurauchi, or is that even how you pronounce it? Sakurauchi Riko from Love Live Sunshine. And then there are so many characters on here that I have never even heard of their show. Like Sakura Chiyo from Gekken Shoujo Nozaki-kun. Actually, I think I might have heard about that one, but there are others. There's Sakura from Urusei Yatsura. Kitauji Sakura from Aikatsu, which I've never heard of. Sakura Momoko.
This list sucks ass. They didn't even put the fucking pictures in.
They did not put pictures in. But it does make it easy for me to read because there's a lot of scrolling involved in the other ones. Sakura Momoko from Chibi Maruko-chan. Mamiya Sakura from Kyokai no Rine. Haruno Sakura from Naruto. That's probably the only reason why I made this list.
Excuse me?
Actually, maybe not the only reason. Number 3, I can't read anymore. Shinguchi Sakura from Sakura Wars. And then you have Mato Sakura from Fate Stay Night. And number 1, Kinomoto Sakura from Cardcaptor Sakura. So I feel like Cardcaptor Sakura and Sakura from Naruto are the only 2 characters that should be on a list of characters named Sakura. The rest of these people are just like filler.
Are you sad? Are you outraged that Sakura from Naruto isn't number 1?
No, I don't care. It's just so dumb.
I don't know how in a popularity contest Sakura from Naruto lost to Sakura from Sakura Wars.
I don't even know. I've never heard of Sakura Wars.
Like this was just done by a poll,
voted
so
on.
they don't give any good reason for why they're best. It's just a popularity contest, which is fine.
Yeah, it is.
That's
poll.
fair.
I mean,
so how did Naruto lose?
I'm just surprised that they got enough people to vote on characters named Sakura because.
Oh come on!
How many Sakura characters can you name other than Sakura from Naruto and Cardcaptor Sakura?
There's a trillion of them.
Can you name them off the top of your head?
Sakurauchi.
Can you be influenced to go and find other characters named Sakura just to vote on this poll?
I mean, I would look up a list of characters called Sakura to have a reference.
But do you have the motivation to? I don't know how many people they got motivated to do this poll, to be honest.
I don't have time to do I don't have time to do jack
exactly.
shit. You want me to go look up a list? But these are these are chronically online people. They don't have anything to do.
Yeah, but I just didn't think there were that many for otakumode.com.
Okay, a lot. How many are we talking? Did they say how many? Maybe only 5 people voted. I mean, how many people can be going to Tokyo Otaku Mode news? Okay, Tokyo Otaku Mode is like a department store in Ikebukuro. I don't think they're. It's probably not a high traffic website.
Exactly. That's why.
Whatever.
This was a good list, Caroline, and that it
You're not
sucks.
understanding what I'm saying. Yeah, this was kind of like a random add-on, I think. I think this is the last one I added.
Are you going to slap me through the computer again?
Next up. I do have my USB keyboard at the ready.
Okay.
What's next?
Another list of just dumb, like, why? Like, what? It's this Honey's anime website, which posts the dumbest shit on their website. It's like they have a top 10 list for literally anything. It could be top 10 anime with skies in them. Like, it could be anything. But this particular list is top 10, the top 5. They couldn't even come up with 10. The top 5 Sigma male anime characters. And I'm like, what the hell?
My God, no.
Hell yeah.
And listen,
Not the Sigma.
And I don't even know what a Sigma is, so I'm like, what the fuck is that?
It's supposed to be the elite of the elite, like higher than alpha males.
No. It's
No, I don't
different
think
than
so.
alpha. You're an alpha that doesn't need the pack. You're your own man. You're a one-man wolf pack.
Yeah. So
That's
according
what
to
a
the
Sigma
internet, a Sigma male is used for a self-reliant, independent person who lives his life according to his own rules and prefers to forego the social hierarchy and need for external validation altogether. Basically, a loner. And then
A loner that's cool, though.
This
and
list also
secretly
sucks
is admired.
because there is Guts is number 5, right? And I'm like, so you failed again because Guts would never be number 5 on any list that he's on. So there's no way there's any character in this list that could be better than Guts from Berserk. I mean, give me a break.
Guts isn't even like... He's kind of a Sigma, but no, not really. No, I don't like it. I don't like this list.
Koyomi from Monogatari, which I've never seen, but so Mason, I don't know, you could probably say.
I would not call him a Sigma male in any stretch of the word.
Ayano Koji from Classroom of the Elite, which I haven't seen.
This is... I would put this guy as like King Sigma, because everyone who's like, oh, he's just like me, thinks they're a Sigma, but they're not.
Hotaro from Hyoka.
I don't understand why they put them on this list. Like, he's a loner, but he's not... I wouldn't...
And
it's just all the girls fall for him because he's so cool and suave and lethargic.
I didn't watch all of Hyoka, but I did not get that impression that he had a harem running around him.
And I'm not sure about this one, but L from Death Note is number 1. And correct me if I'm wrong, didn't L work for the police? Like, he's literally part of an institution. Like,
yes.
I don't know. He was
right.
like a consultant, technically. I don't think he works for any organization.
Well,
but
maybe,
even so, like, I don't think that denotes like working for an organization. I don't know if that denotes.
Doesn't L like? Didn't he play tennis?
He did play tennis.
You can't play tennis and be a Sigma male. I'm putting my foot
eat
down.
jelly beans or something?
You can't cross that line.
What is he always eating? Some kind of candy?
Sweets, just sweets in general.
Oh, okay, it's pretty weird. Yeah, so
this is a really good list, Mitz.
It's
really
just
bad.
Nobody wanted this list.
I was trying to look for these lists. I don't know how you found them, and I couldn't.
Well, I knew that Honey's anime was full of a bunch of worthless fucking information. So I went to because their website's been coming up. This website's existed for a long time, and every once in a while I'll pull some random nonsense article from the internet, and and lo and behold, there's Honey's anime. They're getting a lot of free promo from us right now, but. What's next?
Is it Mason's turn?
Next up, I have a list. I had to go to the iconic website of BuzzFeed.com.
Oh my god!
For a list on 17 anime couples that make you feel love is real.
Oh god! This is the most emo
anime love.
The most emo fucking
That
shit.
is so funny.
And I think, Caroline, you'll like some of these picks. So first of all, this is not a top 10. This is a top 17. So they did follow the prime number directive. We'll give them that. But
That's
it's
fair.
still pretty bad. This list consists almost entirely of shonen relationships. No relationships from actual romance anime, which we could argue is pretty rare, but nope, all shonen pretty much, including a lot of multiple picks, including multiples from Bleach, multiple from Naruto, and multiple from Seven Deadly Sins, which I can't speak on too much, but the ones I can speak to are pretty bad. For instance, we have Midoriya and Ochako from My Hero Academia, a pair
They're
that
not even a
What?
couple.
is shipped
This-
by the fandom. But I would say,
Ochako has a crush on Midoriya, but
Yes.
they are not a couple.
and I would not point to them as evidence that love exists.
How the... I don't mean to jump ahead, Mason,
No, go for it.
but they've got Spike and Julia on here.
that
is
was also
that is
on
the most
my-
dysfunctional fucking shit ever. Like, there's no way.
Yes, this is the epitome of like my mom and dad are fighting and about to get a divorce, but they must have loved each other
Yeah.
at one point, so love is real. Like, no, this is just a tragedy unfolding before you, not makes your heart go doki doki.
The ones on here that I think are legit are some of the, well, most of them are shonen, but I mean, for me, Kenshin and Kaoru is pretty good.
Yes, I would give you that one.
Inuyasha and Kagome is very good. Like, they are definitely a couple.
I
Oh,
have
100%.
not seen Inuyasha,
Oh,
but from
they
what
are
I
so
hear,
in love.
Inuyasha is such a dick, and
Well, he is,
I
but-
don't know why you would want to get with that guy.
He is, but he would die for Kagome for sure. I mean, no doubt about it. In fact, I think that probably is like a plot line several times. And then I don't know. I really the Inuyasha one's probably the best, but I also think that Yusuke and Keiko is pretty good from Yu Yu Hakusho.
It's fine. It's a little bit
okay.
on the back burner, but it's not awful. The one that really I was a little skeptical on was the very last one, which is Hero and 02 from Darling in the Franxx, which is just a very, I'm not saying they don't have feelings for one another, but it's a very broken, fragmented. It's not one that you're like, yeah, I want a relationship like that. Unless you're into that booty action on a galactic scale. Besides that,
It's like
it's just a weak list.
I spend more time looking at your ass than your face. It's so strange.
Edward and Winry
It's the
from
pure fact that there's
Brotherhood is
no.
okay.
What was that?
Edward Elric and Winry from.
Oh, yeah.
That's a fine one on the
They're
list.
good.
Like this list isn't complete garbage. It's just mostly garbage. But what do you think
I
about
mean,
the
say
Naruto
what you will
entries?
about Tokyo Ghoul, but Toka and Kaneki are kind of cute.
Okay. What about the Naruto entries? What's your opinions on
Okay.
those?
Let's see. So they have Asuma and Kurenai, who, I mean, they weren't a major part of the show, so I can't really remember too much, but they were good. But I
Caroline,
wouldn't
did
have
you
put them on
see
a
their
list.
relationship and think to yourself, yes, I am convinced now love truly exists in this world. I have been saved.
They had cute moments, but nothing that I can really remember as like, oh my god, I loved them in that show kind of thing. Naruto and Hinata had their moments in the movie that they had together, and in the show they had some moments too, and I like them, so they're not like out of place on this list, especially if they're gearing more towards the popular shonen shows. It's not bad. The Seven Deadly Sins stuff is kind of like make me go because they both have their issues. Like Melodious and Elizabeth. Elizabeth is like 16. Melodious is like in his 30s. But apparently they're like reincarnations, and like every single reincarnation they have, like they're supposed to be together or some shit like that. I haven't seen the entirety of the show, so I guess like in that case it's like kind of cute, but like that's a little awkward. Also Blaine and Elaine. Elaine
What?
is like 1,000 years old.
I'm sorry,
but
did you say-
Blazer.
I'm sorry.
Blazer.
I'm sorry. Did you
or
say
Ban.
did you say
Ban.
Blaine and Elaine?
Sorry, I messed up. It's Ban and Elaine. Sorry.
Oh, thank
got them.
God! I was gonna say because
combined them.
Elaine isn't even a common name, so you're just going out of your way to be obnoxious. That was
No, so Elaine is like 1,000 years old. Like she's like a fairy, but she looks like a child, like 12 years old. Like you see the two of them stand side by side together, and you're like, oh, that's a pedophile. So, but they again, cute moments that from what I remember when I saw Seven Deadly Sins. It's just they got a little something that makes it weird. So there you go.
Is this the worst list ever? No, it's the list of someone who has seen 7 shows and had to stretch to get 17.
That's true.
Whereas they didn't watch a single romance show.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
That's the
There's
thing that
no
irks me.
romance shows on this
There's
list.
no My Love Story. There's nothing. Nothing.
well,
Come
maybe. Well, I mean, in my opinion, the rom-coms kind of suck anyway for romance. So maybe the answer is
No, but there are
looking in the
good
wrong
couples
places.
in romance.
maybe the
that
best
could have been
romances
on
are
this
actually
list.
in shonens. I don't know.
But the main thing about this, I think the thing that I love the most about this list is the title. 17 anime couples that made you feel love is real.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, let's keep on moving along. We got to get through these last couple.
Okay, so here I have one from Watch Mojo, which is always a good place to check out for top 10s. This is actually a top 20 isekai anime. And I'm just going to, just take a look here. We got my next life is a villainess. They got problem children are coming from another world, aren't they? Which I've never heard of before. Came out in 2013, and yet it's number 19 on this list, and I've never heard of it. Ascendance of a Bookworm, I'm a Spider, So What, Ari Fureta, Log Horizon, Drifters, Tanya the Evil, How Not to Summon a Demon Lord, Digimon Adventure, which is probably like the oldest addition to this list, Cautious Hero, Gate, No Game, No Life, Overlord, Sword Art Online, Jobless Reincarnation, Konosuba, and the top 3, The Rising of the Shield Hero, Reincarnated as a Slime, and ReZero. No 12 Kingdoms on here, Mitsuki. Which is the main reason why I put it on
one of these lists. It's too old.
I did see it a couple times.
You did.
Got Digimon Adventures from 1999 on here.
Oh my god, we were talking about bondage, and now this hentai has bondage in it. Of course it does.
You manifested it, Mitz. No, this
Would
list,
you put it,
Caroline.
Would you put it on the list?
This fucking hentai?
Yeah.
No, it's terrible. It's a hentai.
No, I'm talking about the bondage.
No, I know, but I mean,
Never mind.
I don't know. I mean, it's actual. I don't know. You don't want me to launch into this. What are you even asking for? You should know better.
Mason, were you gonna say something?
This isekai list seems like a top 10 that they just tacked on 10 arbitrary ones at the end, and they were really reaching by the end.
Yeah.
I'm a spider. So what? Like, really? That's going to be on your top 20 list of a paragon of excellence? I don't know about that.
I don't know about that either.
It's pretty crummy.
There's so many isekais.
Yeah, there really are.
Mitz, you want to go next?
I'm sorry, you said
I
12
feel
Kingdoms.
like my lists are like a disappointment compared to you guys. You actually got good ones.
You said 12 Kingdoms. It's not even on here.
It is not on there.
Yeah, I know. I know.
But I feel like there should be more.
I'm just connecting these dots.
Yeah.
Like he's having to refocus from bondage to anything else. And
I'm sorry, I was distracted. Are you gotta be fucking kidding me? See, these people are just disappointing.
It's just hitting him.
It's just disappointing, honestly. It's like, I mean, I've seen a lot of these shows, and man, Gate. Seriously, you're gonna take an anime that has it's the most. I hate to say this, the most anime ever, with characters that include little girls in like French maid outfits with carrying a scythe around. Like, honestly, you're gonna put that.
It's so good, Mitsugi.
Please.
It's number whatever on the top 20 list.
Caroline, I'm gonna throw up in my mouth.
Ew.
I mean, you're gonna put
top
Gate
10
against
anime throw up scenes. No, I would pay for that.
What else on here? You got How to Not Summon a Demon Lord, which is just trash. Man, you're gonna put that. Honestly, my thought is like if you're gonna make a list like this, you lose all your credibility to people that trump you in experience if you don't put an anime like 12 Kingdoms anywhere on a top 20 isekai list. Because I look at you,
but number one is ReZero, Mitsuki. There's no way that 12 Kingdoms can beat it.
It 100% would beat it. I don't know. Most of these anime don't have writing. They're isekais. Come on, we got an isekai about a hot girl with big tits carrying a vending machine around coming up.
Caroline, I'm glad you included the Watch Mojo
that
list.
One.
We needed the Watch Mojo list on here, so thank you for including it.
We did. Thank you. You're welcome. All right, next.
Caroline, you need to write a letter. I looked up.
Who needs to?
You need to write a letter to the creator of that top 10 list and get this fixed.
It's a top 20, Mitsuki.
Whatever, top 20, top whatever. Is it my turn?
Yes.
I'm just pulling these out of my ass because Honey's Anime is an endless well of just worthless content that'll just cause you to fail your finals, but would not give you anything in return. You just spend all your time on Honey's Anime instead of studying. This is a list of top 10 kawaii. This kawaii cute anime boy. So it's grammatically incorrect, and they use the word cute twice. So it's really top 10 cute anime boy.
Well, if you look at the URL, it's Kawaii Little Cutest Boy.
Well, that's very disturbing and true, because as you go down this list of the cutest anime boys, it contains seemingly nothing but little lolicons, and I'm like, what is going on with Honey's anime? You got Oran High School Host Club's Honey, who looks 6. Hero from Fruits Basket. I don't know how old you are. Number 1, if you go all the way down to the bottom, which is just the worst. Ren from Super Lovers. Yes. The 12-year-old boy that is in a sexual relationship with a full-grown man, or something to that effect.
Oh my
is number
God.
1. Oh, you're not aware of Super Lovers?
I'm aware. I heard you guys talk about it in the episodes I'm listening back to of the podcast, and
Yes,
I've never seen it.
Well, I don't know their exact ages. I'm looking up a picture, and I would just send you this picture, Caroline, as Exhibit A. Where the hell's my fucking?
He's 15 years old apparently.
I submit Exhibit A for you, Caroline. A photo of the screen cover of Super Lovers, and I would like your opinion. What do you think?
Oh God, that's. So
Does that look normal to you?
No, it does not. Oh my
There we have
God!
it. Not normal.
He's so old.
Yeah. So the one.
That's a child.
The younger kid is young enough to sit in the other guy's lap. Yes, it's a yaoi anime. It's just not good. It's very disturbing. So Honey's anime. Don't put this on your top as number 1. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I just
my
pulled
favorite
that out of
part
thin
about
air.
this list is the writing, because multiple instances. For example, the number 3, they will say our third position had to be Shoran's, and for number 1, it'll say our first position had to be Ren's for sure. Like they just have the same intro.
Ooh.
It's like, come on.
Bah.
Yeah, this just makes me feel gross, but I cannot comment on the quality of the Kawaii Little Cutest characters here. I choose not to. But number 5 does not look very kawaii or cute, so...
Number 5?
Yeah.
That's Hakenden. How dare you? Hakenden, Dogs of the East. We reviewed that that anime was tough to watch.
Yeah, but the character Shino from that does not look... Like, I would not put him in the same caliber of kawaii cuteness as everything else on this list.
Wow.
This is just weird.
Caroline does not approve.
Away from this list.
I'm going back to my hentai. I think we're out of time on this topic.
Oh, but can I do one more?
We gotta do one more. We're not doing a rotating thing. My number 1 least favorite top 10 list. I had to go to Honey's anime as well, because this one
of course you did. Well,
was the cream of the cream. So this
that.
one they tried to do something normal, which is the top 10 anime directors. Very good list, very normal list, right?
Mm-hmm.
First things first. If you look at the URL, they misspelled recommendations. They call it recommendations. Just messed up. But this is the list of the top anime directors of all time.
Sir Michael Bay.
Of all time. So I'm expecting some icons of the industry, new and old. And it's not a bad list. They have some fine picks. You have Shinkai, you have Ano, Yuasa, Miyazaki, Yamada, just casual stuff. There's a couple snubs, more artistic-y folks that I can understand not making the list, like Shingo Natsume, Ikuhara, Koike, Imaishi, Rintaro, or Shinbo. It's okay not having those in there. They're not quite on the same things, but there's some very meh picks on here. For one, they have Tetsuro Araki, the guy who did Attack on Titan and Death Note, which is, big name anime, but if you didn't know who Tetsuro Araki was, when I said that, it's because no one knows who he is, because he has no style. It's just very stiff and directing, which is how he does things, but I wouldn't call him greatest of all time, despite having some good shows. You also have Katsuhiro Otomo on here, who is for sure a juggernaut in the industry, but for his writing and manga paneling, not his directing. But to put him above Satoshi Kon, questionable. But here's where the list really comes off the rails for me, which is they have Mamoru Hosoda listed at number 2, and then below that, when they've been going from worst to best, they have Otomo listed, they have Hosoda at 2, and then below that they have Otomo at number 3. So, did they mess up the numbering or the order? If I can't even follow the list of what's worst to best, what is there to believe in? Do you know what I'm saying, Mitz? It goes 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
I'm
2,
wondering if we're
3,
working. Are
1.
we looking at the same website?
I probably.
Because I see Otomo is number 3.
Yeah. And then what's
And-
below him?
Tezuka?
You might have scrolled down way too far.
Oh.
Because they updated
Damn.
this list because everyone called them out for having a shitty list. But in addition to that, it doesn't bother me that they have some crummy picks, and you can't please everyone. But to not have Mamoru Oshii, no Osamu Dezaki, no Takahata on here, and the fact that all these descriptions of what makes a director good, besides being full of improper grammar
they
and
misordered
juvenile
them.
sentence structure and just misspellings, is that the notable works that they list under each director are just either poorly judged or partially incorrect. Like they have Tetsuro Araki, the guy who did Death Note and Attack on Titan, as saying he did Black Lagoon, which he just was an episode director on. Like he didn't do
God.
that. They have Anno, and here's what they list for notable works for Hideaki Anno. Neon Genesis Evangelion, The End of Evangelion, Evangelion 1.0. Like, they just listed his Eva stuff. No love for Gunbuster, no love for Karikano, just the most bland review of this man's works. For Watanabe, they chose Blade Runner, Blackout, and The Animatrix, which were just tie-ins and he wasn't even in control over, versus like Kids in the Slope, Terror and Resonance. Like, just so many egregious issues all over this list that just at face value is okay, but when you dig deeper, it's just so shallow and bad. And I hate this list.
Where the fuck is Takahata? He's not even on here.
Yeah. Nope.
I'm sorry.
Nowhere.
Takahata definitely should be on here. I mean,
yes, he should. And I get it. You can't fit every great director in a top 10 list. Like some
So make
people
it a
have
top
to be
20.
cut. But to have some of the picks they did have, I would have gone differently. So I think it's bad, partially for the
Bunch of
partially
noobs.
just everything about it. So that was my
Can I
final
give a
complaint.
quick
Go
shout out
for it.
to can I give a quick shout out, Mitsuki, please? My last one is 10 best horror anime that will give you nightmares for days. I picked it partially for that title and for the fact that they give a little sentence as a heading for each anime they mention. Number 10 is Perfect Blue is disrespectfully underrated, which I disagree. I haven't seen it. I know it for sure. It's a good movie, but it's not underrated. That is for certain. Everyone says Perfect Blue.
It's not
in horror anime.
underrated. It's under talked about and put out. Whatever. You're right.
Yeah, and of these like horror anime that will give you nightmares for days is Tokyo Ghoul, which I don't think so.
What?
I don't think it's gonna give you nightmares
what
for
kind
days.
of like pussy are you? Like, go watch some fucking horror movies and come back. Tokyo Ghoul's
Also,
not
Serial
a...
Experiments Lane, which put me to sleep, and I did not
It's not
have any
scary
nightmares
either.
because I didn't understand what I was watching. Anywho, go ahead. Let's head into the news.
Trivia.
What is the name of the doctor in Oshi no Ko that helps deliver the twins? We'll give you the answer after the news break.
Hey, Anime Addicts, Mitsuki's here, and I'm bringing you your anime news break, starting off with an anime sequel announcement. Kizuna no Alel is getting a second season in the fall of 2023. This anime's first season came out recently in the spring, produced by Wit Studio and Signal MD. The Kizuna AI YouTube channel has about 3 million subscribers and launched in 2016. Pretty popular endeavor. Nozomi Kasuga revealed on Twitter in 2020 that she was the voice behind Kizuna AI. The synopsis, of course, is that it's been 5 years since Kizuna disappeared from the virtual world, and a very big fan, Miracle, attends Eden Academy, a school for virtual artists. Miracle's goal is to win the prestigious Lapin d'Or, or the Virtual Grid Awards, an achievement that Kizuna won 5 consecutive times. And to do this, the character Miracle works on their YouTube channel, I guess, or whatever channel it is, to increase their popularity. So if you're a fan of this property, look out for more coming out in the fall of 2023. Next up, the voting is open for the next Manga Awards 2023. Voting opened for, this is the 9th annual, I guess, Next Manga Awards. There are 41 titles nominated in the print category and 61 titles nominated in the web manga category. Readers can vote on the official website, which is Sugi Manga no JP, if you want it in English, Sugi Manga no JP /EN. You can go vote right now for your favorite anime, for your favorite mangas, both in print and in digital format. So these mangas were chosen from 5,170 submissions. So pretty good pool to be selecting from. Go vote if you're interested. Next up, My Hero Academia and the NBA is collaborating on some fashion, it looks like. We already know that a lot of NBA and other sports athletes are big fans of anime. This collaboration will see characters from My Hero appearing on the merchandise of 9 NBA teams: the Celtics, the Bulls, Mavericks, Warriors, Lakers, Heat, Knicks, 76ers, and Trailblazers. Special items will be available on at the upcoming NBA Con in Las Vegas on July 7th. So if you're a big fan of the NBA or, I don't know, collaborations, go check it out. It looks pretty cool, and it's nice to see anime being thrust even further into the mainstream. Next up, the manga Cocoon is getting an anime, but you have to wait until the summer of 2025, which is just brutal. So the studio is Sasayuri, production from the NHK. San and Mayu are 2 schoolgirls living in Okinawa during the closing months of the Pacific War. Together with their classmates, the 2 friends are drafted into the war effort as nurses for wounded soldiers. When ordered to die for their country, the remaining members of the group escape, only to face harsh environments of the tropical paradise that has become a hellish battlefield. This sounds actually pretty badass, but you're going to have to wait again about 2 years until the summer of 2025 to see the adaptation of Machiko Kyo's Cocoon manga. This was Mitsugi, and this was your anime news break, and now time to get back to the podcast. So you're at the gym, feeling great and looking great too, I might add. That is until your favorite podcast ends. Now, without your headphones, you're suddenly lost in the wilds of Meatland. Don't get lost in the wilds of Meatland. Get the AAA Podcast extra content. We'll help you gain some fun times with our hobby addicts, after parties, and hentai episodes. Nothing gets your blood pumping quite like hentai, and nothing helps the podcast quite like your support. So head over to aaapodcast.com/join or Patreon to support the show. Again, that's aaapodcast.com/join or Patreon. Bro, sounds like you need a spot from the AAA podcast. Welcome back to the podcast. When we left you, we had a trivia question for you. What is the name of the doctor in Oshi no Ko that helps deliver the twins? Goro Amamiya is the answer.
That'd be impressive if anyone could remember that.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
Technically, I don't think they say his last name in the anime, but it is Goro, and no one will remember that.
All right, well, now it's time to do mailbag, so without further ado, let's just roll right into it.
It's time for an almighty anime mailbag. Anime.
Mailbag.
You can submit a mailbag at aapodcast.com by clicking the mailbag button, and you can ask us whatever you like. Like This Is Heavy wrote in and said, "Good evening. What are some of your favorite anime memes?" For some reason, Cowboy Bebop at his computer never gets old to me. Thanks. I love this question because there are so many good anime memes. My personal favorites are All According to Keikaku. Keikaku means plan, just for obvious reasons. People die when they're killed. Boruto's dad memes and Get in the Fucking Robot.
Seems like you like the bad subtitles element of things.
I mean, yes, I do. Boruto's dad is not one of those, though.
No, it's not. Not all of those are that.
Poking, yeah.
For myself, from Cowboy Bebop, I love the gif of Ein, the dog, bouncing away while it says, like, nope, 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 not today, nope, nope, see you, Space Cowboy. Like, that's a classic. That one always puts a smile on my face. JoJo memes are usually pretty consistently wild and good. And plug for the Discord where people make their own memes of
Fuck yeah, they do.
us and other anime and all kinds of weird stuff, and I pin them because they are amazing and I love them.
Goddamn right.
Good memes. I'm a fan of a good meme. What about you, Mitz?
My favorite meme is the one of the character with the butterfly, and he's like holding his hand up.
Yeah,
and he's like, I don't know what this is from, but
it's from like a movie or something like that. Or no, it's old timey.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was, but I still don't. But I just think it's funny. It's like, what is this? And then it's always like people making fun of their parents. Like my parents to every Pokemon ever. Like, is this a Pikachu? It's like, no, goddammit. There are people in my office that don't know. They weren't even able to name their favorite Pokemon, and I'm like, how is that possible for like a late 20s someone? Like, everyone should at least have should at least be able to rattle off a couple Pokemon, but whatever.
Nice.
Okay, thank you for your mailbag.
Are you ready?
Yeah, it was a good one. And with that,
here we go.
Let us get into our review of the just off the press Oshi no Ko. I passed this in episode 676. It is a spring 2023 show, and you can watch it on High Dive. The synopsis reads, a huge fan of the idol named Ai, Dr. Goro Amamiya cheers for her from his office out in the boonies with one of his patients. His wish comes true when Ai shows up at his hospital one day, not sick, but pregnant with twins. The doctor promises Ai to deliver the children safely, but he is not aware of the twists that will befall them both. We were being a little vague about it because there's a bit of spoilers at the beginning of the show, and this is your last chance with our initial expectations and stuff before you can run away. So we're being a little vague, but it is a show. You've probably heard of it because it's insanely popular right now. It's directed by Daisuke Hiramaki, who did Asteroid in Love and Selection Project. It's done by the studio Doga Kobo, who did Plastic Memories and New Game. It's based on a manga by the same creator of Kaguya-sama, Aka Akasaka. And it's had a lot of hype for it. So knowing that, Caroline, what was your expectations going in to Oshi no Ko?
Well, I did not really know what it was about. I mean, I did read the synopsis when we were doing our picks, and I'm like, oh, this doesn't seem interesting to me. I'm not even going to consider it for my list. And then everyone started talking about it, especially after the first episode came out, and everyone was kind of secretive about what it was really about. And I'm just like, oh, so is there like a bait and switch or something like that? So I kept myself very ignorant over what exactly happens in the show. I just knew it was hyped, and so I was interested to see what it was all about.
And it's?
Yeah, so the best anime of all time, of course. I mean, what else could it be? Honestly. I thought I was going to like fall to my knees and worship this anime for everything I was worth, honestly. So, pretty much.
High expectations, both, it sounds like.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
For myself, I read a fair bit of the manga, so I knew what I was getting into. And, you know, it's kind of reliant on you not knowing the twists to kind of shock and wow you. And I was just like, hey, I was trying to temper your guys' expectations with my initial thing, saying, you know, it's a little hyped right now. Come in with neutral expectations, but it seems like that failed completely. So, with that said, Caroline, spoiler free, would you recommend Oshinoko?
I think I would recommend it. I mean, it's really hard to talk about, as you mentioned, because it's not only you don't really want to spoil anything that happens in the first very long episode, but it's also kind of like hard to describe this kind of show. I mean, it has like a lot of the darker elements with going through the entertainment business, and I thought that was really interesting, as well as the mystery, which is probably going to be, going throughout the entirety of the story. At the very least, it's visually interesting. I know Mitsugi absolutely despises the star eyes, but I think at least for
How do you know?
when she
You never
because
know.
you
never know.
I looks so cool with them. Like, she makes it work. With Aqua and Ruby, it looks a little weird because they only have one of the star eyes, so it just. But they do them very. It's still very interesting how they kind of play with them, like how they shine, if they go dark, what their intentions are, that kind of thing. So I think that's still pretty cool, even if people might think it's a bit silly. And some of the characters are really good. I loved Kana. At first I hated her, but then she became one of the best characters for me. And I feel like the general idea of the show is fairly unique. It's definitely not perfect, because while I do like the more realistic view of the life of idols and actors, the dialogue can get very textbook-y and unnatural. It's like they have an agenda, and they are just like, they're typing out that agenda without making it sound like it's natural within their situations.
It sounds
like Kana will just write off, 1 in 3 idols kill themselves or something like that. Not that, but like something like that. And it just, I get what you're going for here, but you need to make it a little bit more natural. That's the main thing. It just doesn't sound right. And you can easily tell, like, that's their focus and not necessarily the story, because the mystery part of the story is just like the vehicle that takes you through the entertainment business. And so they're not really focused on that either. Even so, I thought it was a really good watch. I would be interested in watching season 2 at the very least, so I thought it was pretty good.
Excellent. Mitsugi, recommendation?
Maybe. I mean, I think the premise of this anime is pretty stupid. We can talk about that later because it's spoilers. Since the first episode is a incredibly pretentious 85 minutes. I hate that shit. Honestly, like it.
I feel like for this, it makes sense as a prologue. Because I feel like having it in one episode, because what happens in the first episode is not what the rest of the show is like.
I mean, fuck me. That's like saying. I feel like it's good
to get that starting knowledge.
That's like saying any anime that had a particularly eventful thing happen at the end of episode 3 or 4 should have a 1 hour and 20 minute prologue.
It's becoming way more common. Different. You have this. You had Rakugo Shinju with like the double episode length.
I hate it.
We have Frieren with a 2-hour premiere coming out in the fall. Oku just dropped on Netflix. That has like an hour and a half episode.
I mean, so in Monster, Ryohan pieces out of the hospital and sets off the whole story, like around ends of episode 4 maybe. So that should be a 1 hour and 20 minute prologue?
I'm not saying it should. I'm saying it wasn't, and this was.
But like, take Rakugo Shinju, where the first episode is longer, but the rest of the season is not even in that time period. Like, the characters that you meet in the first season don't come back until the second season. I feel like this is similarly like that, where you kind of had to have that longer episode, keep it within that section, so it doesn't, like, it would feel weird if 2 or 3 of episodes of an anime are completely different from the rest of the show. And yeah, it could work, but like, why not just make it into an extra length episode?
Okay. Anyway,
it's just because you didn't know that it was going to be a long episode and you were pissed.
No, I've hated it. I've always hated it. I hated it when the Fate anime did it over and over again. Anyway, whatever. That's not what I meant by the premise. We'll get to that later. I think the characters in this are quite good. I think there's many waifus in play, honestly. I think if we hadn't eliminated 2023 characters from our waifu war, this would have been nothing but Oshinoko girls, probably. So yeah. I'm glad we did that. Some of the character designs are obnoxious. It's kind of hard to get around it. It's okay. I mean, honestly, I think that if you're looking for, there's a lot to talk about. I'm not going to talk about it all here. If you're looking for it's like a weird clash of genre. I mean, this is basically a murder mystery rolled into Wake Up Girls. I mean, essentially. But this first season doesn't have really much of a murder. This first season is basically Wake Up Girls with like a prettier coat of paint. Because if you're going into season 1 thinking you're going to get like some murder mystery show, you're just wrong. I mean, there's 3% of this first season is about the murder mystery, and the rest of it is just I'm an idol or I'm a TV actor. So, anyway, which is so funny. We'll get to it more later, but like, I know that these actors and shit on TV in Japan don't make much money. So, because no one watches TV in Japan, at least not Japanese TV. So it's like, they act like this is such a glamorous, like, amazing, like everybody's like fighting to striving to be these like this or that, and it's like, yeah, but for all your trouble, you're not really making a lot of money, and I don't think you're particularly famous either. So
I feel like they made that point clear. Like
they
I
did,
feel like in
like,
this show they don't move over the fact that. Are you agree?
Yeah, I agree. They're like, well, the one girl was like,
I thought you were saying like, oh, why are they? Because there are characters that glorify the business and like they still want to do it even though it's like
I mean,
money.
Every idol show we've seen makes it very clear that the industry is awful. So it's just amazing that these people want to do this for essentially like poverty level money. Just the 200,000 yen a month, which equates to like $1,200 these days. I mean, this is not really worth it in my opinion, but this anime is almost worth watching just for the OP. To be perfectly honest. Great. So I might recommend it if you're just like an idol fan, like if you just are really interested in like teen pop idols, maybe I'd recommend it, but that's about it.
As for myself, I would recommend this show for a wildly popular show like this. You could do much worse. I think there is a lot of entertainment here. There's a lot of thought and care put into it, and overall, it looks and moves nice. It's a entertaining experience, and that's at the core what we come to shows for. That said, most of what I said in my harsh impression of it, with the abysmal writing, the questionable characters, just some really shoddy dialogue that, as Caroline said, sounds like it's coming from a dictionary, and it's just overly... The writing in the show it's clear flaw in a lot of ways that irk to me. So, yeah, it's not without massive problems that we'll get into, but I think at its core, Oshi no Ko has something special and unique about it that is worth checking out at least. Though if you're, like Mitt said, if you're here for the MacGuffin of a murder mystery, you're not going to be satiated by it. It's more of a thinly veiled excuse for the writers to show all these different snapshot vignettes of the entertainment industry. So, with that said, let us play a very loud spoiler drop and get into it.
Spoilers are coming. Oh my god.
Okay. Can I just drop a nuke from the beginning?
Yes.
The premise of this anime is so fucking stupid.
Define premise.
I'm going to, for sure, in great detail. But and this isn't to start out saying that like I hated this anime and it was terrible, because it wasn't. Okay, this is not going to be an endless shit on Oshi no Ko.
No. I'm going to say that.
Although just the title of Oshi no Ko, by the way, for people who don't know, is translated roughly as the child's fans or something, which is just a dumb fucking title.
I thought it was more. I thought it was like Oshi, like Hoshi, like Star
Nope.
Child.
Nope. The kanji that they
makes
use
so much more sense.
Literally means the fan of like of a famous person. So it's just weird. Anyway, but this anime takes a premise that probably will never happen, specifically to carve a plot line, to forge a path of a plot line that is just not likely to really happen, and it's just implausible to start with. Besides the fact that two people are being reincarnated as an idol's twins. But What the fuck? 15? Look. She walks into that hospital. She's 16. She's pregnant with twins, and she's like very pregnant. So for all I know, she got pregnant at 15. How in the fuck is that allowed to happen? Like, first of all, who is that stupid? Like, and she's like all happy about it. She's like, oh, I'm so happy.
That's a bad take.
That's a bad take. A 15-year-old gets pregnant. That's a bad take.
You shit on high school characters all the time for not having sex.
Oh,
you can't
my
imagine
dress-up
that
darling.
this is
Why
going to be the product of what you want
my
it to be.
dress-up darling? Why aren't they having
Man,
sex
you guys are
in
just missing the point.
Rent-A-Girlfriend? Why aren't they having sex?
And no, but like, if your point is the fact that she's happy about having children, she is obviously not in a stable mind because of her, lack of loving.
Well, that's
household.
For sure. That's essentially the point I'm trying to make.
And they get into that in the first episode. They were like, oh, but she really wants these kids, not because it's, obviously it's quite a hardship for everyone involved to keep this all a secret, but she wants to experience love because she doesn't know what love is, so she's excited over the concept of finally having family and children
I just listen.
You kind of love, you love your kids.
I want to caution you on your take, because any take other than this is a bad look is basically glorifying unprepared child pregnancy. So I don't want to.
I'm not saying that it's not.
And listen,
it is stupid to have kids at 16, but things happen.
And not to be
It just
TMI,
happens.
not to be TMI, but I've had sex like 12,000 times, and
Congrats.
it's never resulted in a baby, because there's this thing called. No, I'm pretty sure, and and then.
No, but Mitz, just because you never had kids and you had sex a lot does not mean protection sometimes doesn't work. That is a fact.
She's an idol. There's 400,000 forms of birth control, and by the way, not to get political, but I imagine the same people that would say that this is fine would also say just go get an abortion. So I don't know why that's not happening. But how did the agency let that happen?
They gave her the option. She didn't want it.
If you got pregnant at 15 and burned an agency to the ground, I would sue your ass to the fucking planet, and I'd probably have a contract that would say that you can't just go out and get knocked up at 15 because you're going to destroy an entire company and all the people in it. So it's just a bad premise to start with. It's so great. She had twins and they were reincarnated and they're her fans. Yeah, but you're trying to don't tell me that getting pregnant with twins at 15 is ever good.
No one's saying it is good.
What are we arguing?
You can't just magically you can't just undo children, Mitsuki. You can get an abortion, but that's not what she chose. She didn't want to get one. She wanted to have the kids.
Well, I understand that,
which is fine.
Well, I guess we're gonna have to agree to disagree, because I don't think agreeing to have kids at 15 is ever fine, but
it happens. You just have to make the best out of it.
That's not the premise of the show.
No, it isn't. But that's the scenario that they have to manufacture to make the premise of the show exist.
I can believe that a 15-year-old got pregnant. If that's too hard of a hurdle for you, I don't know what to tell you.
That's not the biggest hurdle. The biggest hurdle is the fact that 2 people got reincarnated, and one of them waited 4 years to be reincarnated.
It's not even the problem that they got reincarnated. Even that, I can make the logical leap and say reincarnation happened. Sure, fine, whatever. What bothers me, and I think I said this, alluded to it in my impression, is that at multiple times in the first episode, people are like, wouldn't it be awesome to be reincarnated as a kid of an idol? That would be so sweet. If I had one wish, it would be multiple random people bring up how just is an idea that they have that's passing through their noggin. And it just that's the kind of just overly convenient remarks about what'll happen next. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's that's really what bristles my berries.
If you're going to wish anything, you're going to wish to be the famous person. You're not going to, wouldn't it be awesome to be a famous person's child? That's not a very common wish.
It's fair, but not something you announce out loud to someone else. It's okay, fine.
I mean, do you?
But
spoilers?
Also,
I gets freaking shanked. She dies.
Wait a second. I just want to clear up the last weird and awkward conversation. So when I say that this girl should not and probably would not get pregnant at 15, and you guys say, Mitch, you're always saying that high school kids should have sex. Are you trying to say that I'm advocating for 15-year-olds to get pregnant and have kids?
No,
I'm not. We're just saying that when you have sex, you have kids, and if
not if you're using birth control. With 99.9% success.
Look up a study.
I don't need to do that.
Birth control can fail. Condoms can fail. There's an obvious reason why
IUD
people
success
have
rate.
unexpected pregnancies.
An
It's
intrauterine
not
device
just-
or man, you need to check your numbers because
Okay,
I've
I'm done with this
because I've
conversation.
been married twice and I know a lot about all these topics. Intrauterine device or an IUD is more than 99% effective. So
But
yeah,
do you
okay.
think
And
that this
at some
15,
point,
16-year-old idol is getting one? Probably not.
at some point, a comet will fall out of the sky and it'll hit you in the head, and you'll end up dead. But like the odds of that are 0.01, which is basically where you are with an IUD. So I'm just saying that like I'm not trying to say kids that are underage should get pregnant. I'm saying if you use birth control, 99+% of the time you won't get pregnant. Which is why
it does happen, Mitz. It does. You can't deny that.
Point one, point zero.
No,
But
we don't have to get into this.
I don't
this is
even care. Like,
ridiculous.
you're not even a scientist. Give me a study and I'll read it, but
This
you
is-
don't. Yeah, whatever. Anyway,
Yeah, there's always going to be a 0.1% exception to literally everything in life. I could choke on an apple seed and die. 0.01%
but
of the
is
time.
a 15-year-old getting an IUD? No.
They are in real life. Like they would just use the patch or the pill or the birth control or condoms or anything else. It's like, anyway.
This is not even what this anime
No,
is about.
yeah, we can move on.
I feel like everything here is fairly realistic, except for the fact, and well, obviously the reincarnation is not real, except for the fact that she was able to keep this all under wraps. I feel like it's so easy, especially for a famous idol, to be found out about having twins. Like, she took maybe like a year off from this idol group. Instantaneously, tabloids would be saying, "Was I pregnant during this time?" That is absolutely what they would do.
Probably, but even then, I can pretend that they, had a good PR system of saying she's sick, she's visiting, she's out of I can believe that they can run interference enough to hide the fact. Is it knowing how idol culture is in the media and obsession? Probably unlikely, but she's special. She made it through. Good for her, I guess. I'm fine with that. Do we need to talk about any more about episode 1? Do we need to talk about I guess the question I have first of all is the murder mystery the compelling part of this show? Like, are you watching to get that solution, or are you watching for all the arcs that we come to about the TV drama, the reality show, and being an idol? Like, what is the pull of this show for you two?
I mean, I have more
I
questions
am
about
in-
episode 1.
Okay, well, we can work through those.
Such as like if you were just gonna kill her, like just kill her in the rural hospital. Like, why even bother with the doctor? Just murk her right there.
Yeah, I feel like that was a little bit...
Because you have to have these
like,
two characters be born so you can have the whole premise exist. But that's stupid.
Yes.
Just take her out from the beginning
It's
and call it a
stupid.
day.
And
right?
it's stupid for the doctor to chase the stalker. Like, dude, just that he's here for I. Go protect I, if anything.
And the last thing I
dumb.
want to say about episode 1 is, it just seems like Aqua, who, let's face it, is the main character, of course, just like both of them, like you're born again with all your memories and shit. You didn't even check. Pancake made a comment. She was like, so this kid's not even gonna check up on his parents. He just abandons everything from his prior life. He probably had a kid, a parent, a dog. He's just like, fuck it. I'm not even.
He was an idol fan. He had nothing going on.
I forget it.
Yeah.
I just forsake everything from my prior life and abandon all of my memories. Anyway, this anime is not all
Why
bad.
did that happen? Why in episode 1 did, or whatever it is, the two kids pretend to be gods over that woman,
That was
Miyako,
random.
whatever? She's like, we're god descendants and we can control space and time and we're all powerful. And she's like, cool. And then that's never
It's never brought up again.
visited again.
They act
She's
like
just
normal children
yeah.
to her for the rest of the time. I'm like, I feel like they need to address that.
She's like, you know what? I will be a foster mother forever now, which is, fine. It's just
I
why?
love that for her.
She was probably one of my favorite characters. Hard
yeah,
stop.
she was great.
Despite all the exposition she was there to receive. But really, as we said, the whole point of the show is Aqua trying to track down the person who sent the stalker/assassin to kill himself in a way, self-revenge, but also, more importantly, his mother and patient in a weird twist. And
His
trying to find
lover,
out
patient, crush, mother.
what mystery shadowed person who is in the high ranking of the entertainment industry did such a thing. Who's the father? And that's kind of the underlying current. But really, the show is an excuse for uh, Akasaka to be like, look at how terrible being an actor is. Look how terrible being an idol is. And it's really just these vignettes that are really shoddily and conveniently like tied together through the dumbest reasoning and just as an excuse to move characters already introduced between one arc to another. So like for example, the first major arc is this TV drama where Aqua like goes on, pretends to be a villain, like trying to find info about the producer, and he meets Kana, who we'll talk about in a bit. So they have a great episode, and then they're like, okay, we need to move on to another arc. But really quick, let's just arbitrarily ask Kana to be an idol so she can stay along for the rest of the show. Even though she just had the first successful episode of her life, and now she'll just switch lanes because she kind of crushes on him. Like, is that it? Is that all it takes to get a harem?
Yeah, that was
a lot of,
especially when she made it clear that she did not want to be one, and he was like, "Please," and she's like, "No," and she's like, "Pretty please," and like, "No," and "Pretty please" with a cherry on top. And she's like, "Sure."
But it's kind of the same way with like, oh, we met Mem doing the reality show. You want to be in the show in the future? Okay, be an idol. Oh, Akane, do you want to be in the show in the future? Let me conveniently befriend you right before we get information that I need to go to your theater troupe in season 2. So like, it was just pulling waifus that were established along for the ride, and it felt too like coincidences happen, but it was too consistent and too just like cheap and gimmicky for me to fall into it. But what arc did you guys like the most? Was it the reality show arc of the 3 to 4 episodes? Was it the idol arc at the end? Was it the quick TV drama? Like, because I think the reality show, the 4 episodes of him on set, like trying to, well, like with the whole, online harassment thing with Akane, I think that was probably the strongest point of the show besides episode 1.
Yeah, I can definitely see why why that might be the strongest part of the show. But for some reason, I really liked the TV drama part. Maybe just because I love Kana and I loved seeing her again and how she changed as a character from her child self to present day. But yeah, I feel like the reality TV part of it was probably the most focused on outside the first episode.
I mean, to me, it felt powerful, but this show also like swung from these like really strong, powerful, serious, tragic story beats to like these weird, campy melodrama expositions where, like you said, a character will just be flat out stating statistics about the industry, and you're just like, this is really the point of the show, is to tell me that stats about how bad being an idol is. It just felt crummy and like sandwiched between like really good moments that like, oh, the internet is not always a great place, and here's how some people have had to deal with it in negative ways. Like, I don't know, it's fresh and new, but it's really just not the greatest avenue for expressing some of these ideas, I think.
This show is really either great or terrible depending on the audience member. I mean, it's not like one of these shows that doesn't have as much polarization, in my opinion. Like, there are people out there that love idols, and this is a glossier than most representation of idols and gives you the idol industry and all this and that. But then there are people who think idols are just fucking cringe and the whole industry is just bad and don't care about idols. And if you're one of those people that isn't into like TV celebrities or idols, or you're just not into that, you're going to get nothing out of this. Absolutely nothing. Because after episode 1, the whole show is just like, I want to be an idol. But like,
I wouldn't say that. I mean, there was quite a bit
or a
of
TV
acting
show, or a TV show person, or whatever. But like, not everybody is into like celebrities. A lot of people aren't.
But it's through the lens of Aqua, who is very like he realizes the danger of the industry, which is why he tries to like sabotage his sister from getting into it, and undermines what is the shiny, nice polish on the outside with trying to shovel up the underpinnings of dirt that surround it, which is what makes it intriguing. It just is too, like, this show could have been written by a Wikipedia page at times.
Yeah.
I didn't find it particularly, I mean, I don't know. I don't really care about idols, and all these idol
I mean,
anime are the
I'm
same to
not
me.
into idols either, but I love the behind the scenes look at, these dance performances, and actually when they're casting, it's based on, this popularity, and, on set, the episode director might want this kind of thing. And just that behind the scenes look, I'm fascinated with, no matter if it's idols or, making an anime or at a game studio, like, other anime. Like, I love that behind the scenes stuff, but it just felt you're either in it for the murder mystery and you're let down that it's not that, or you're trying to get these behind the scenes stuff and it's the murder mystery is kind of taking away. Like, it doesn't blend well together and seamlessly. It's kind of just contrived is my biggest problem with the writing.
But I mean, I know that the murder mystery is definitely not going to be the main thing about this show, and it does go very slowly with how it progresses. But I feel like if it was happening faster, I feel like that wouldn't be right either, because he literally we start off this mystery with literally no clues except for the fact that it's someone that I know is from the entertainment business, and we flash forward like 10 years, and he has not gotten anywhere except being able to open up her phone, from which he spent 4 years just trying every single combination possible, which makes sense. Like, that makes sense. Like,
That's
there's no way
cool.
he was going to get into his, yeah.
But it's he goes
yeah.
on a reality show to get with a producer, and he's like, okay, if I can do this reality show, the producer will give me some good info. And he does.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, I know everything about Ai, even her lovers. And he's like, whoa, please tell me more. And then he eventually tells him, like, she went to a theater troupe. I don't know anything about her.
She was a theater kid. She was a theater kid. That's what he got from it, which is, like I said, conveniently the same theater as the girl he befriended earlier. Yeah. So of course she's going to come into play. But also, if people were as obsessed about Ai, they probably would have written a Wikipedia page that said, oh, she studied at this theater thing. And even if they didn't, that is such a minor lead for 33% of the show to get out of. And it's not awful, but it's just so, I don't know. It just could have been better, I think, in a lot of different ways.
I have mixed feelings about this show, because at first I'm like, oh my God, I love this show. But then I focus more on the things that just don't hit the mark or just don't make sense. And it feels like I'm shitting on it because that's all I can remember. But I do remember watching and really enjoying watching it.
But like episode 3, he's tracking that one person who's smoking a cigarette, and he's like, oh, I'm going to use the DNA from his cigarette to, find out info. But how did he get that cigarette? Because they show the container that he's smoking by, and it's just a sea of other cigarettes. So was he going around like
oh my God, I was
ones?
watching that. I'm like, he's not going to get his cigarette. There's like 7,000 people's cigarettes in there.
And then like episode 2 about that TV drama, the director's like, oh, have you heard about this TV show? And Aqua's like, yeah, that's really renowned. And then it finds out, no one likes the show. It sucks. It universally sucks. So why did Aqua say it was renowned? Just to be with, like, it's just, they didn't really connect the dots.
Oh no, the manga was renowned. The show was crap.
The show was, garbage.
But the manga, people love the manga.
How would he know about it? Yeah.
Yeah, he read the manga.
I think he said the show was renowned. I don't know. I haven't seen the show in a while. It was just all the characters were very one-track mind. They either wanted to be an idol or they crushed on Aqua, and that was it. And
yeah, there is way too much crushing on Aqua for how angsty he is.
And the males were either like ignored completely, they were just background characters, or they were super edgy puppet masters that like knew everything that was going. Just wasn't a lot of breadth of personalities in the show.
I'm just trying to figure out why this anime has such like just over the top good marks on the internet.
I think it's just because it looks very pleasant, and I guess the girl characters really.
That would track with recent theories of mine, at least.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say that it's not because of like the art style, but the art style is good and enjoyable.
Yeah, it was pretty well done artistically. It was just very inconsistent. Like every meticulous sparkle and performance was really sharp, but then there was a bunch of jank that came with it. Like when Aqua was tossing a baseball to himself, that was ambitious. Like they didn't need to include that, but it also looked kind of shoddy. Ruby and Kana had this big confrontation in episode 10 where Ruby's like, oh, it's okay, Kana, like don't be scared, we're in it together. And their positions on the screen kept on moving in like weird ways that is not how people move, because that's people can't teleport. So it was all right where it needed to be, but it wasn't amazing. It just had style, it had polish, it had a great marketing push, it had a big name writer.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it had a lot going for it. And when you get a lot of people watching a show, people talk about it because there's a lot to talk about with episode 1. Like, that just gets the ball rolling. And, people excited about a show and talking about it brings in discourse, brings in positive discussion.
I mean,
and you heard that OP. That OP grew on me so much. It was so good. Like, that's a 90-second chunk that gets spread on YouTube. People watch it. The more people consume something, the more they tend to like it. And that OP did that in spades. So I think it had a lot going for it.
not really sold, but that's okay. I mean, this isn't the only anime that had a big name writer and a good OP and good animation. I mean, whatever. Like, Attack on Titan would be another one of those. Big time manga, big time studio, big time song, tons of hype. Attack on Titan doesn't have a 9.4 on Mal, or it didn't have a 9.4.
Does it have a Oshi no
this anime had like a 9.4 for like 2 months, and now I think it's
a massive beginning episode that got people hyped and people rated it early.
It still has over a 9 though.
Okay,
so it's down to an 8.9. So Attack on Titan never got an 8.9.
I'm pretty sure it did.
So I'm just curious. I'm just trying to piece that together, and the answer on the Discord was waifus. I was like, okay, waifus, rock on, giddy up with the waifus.
And I was kind of surprised though, because I felt like Ruby's whole purpose in becoming an idol was to be a star, but the fact that she kind of rolled over so quickly on being center was surprising. Because I feel like everyone else. I mean, I don't know much about idol groups, but I feel like if you're not center, you're kind of just a supporting cast member.
Yeah, but I also liked how her and Mem were like arguing, oh, I should be the center, I should be the center. And they're both like, actually, maybe at this point we're not cut out for it yet. And we do have someone more talented. And they had good chemistry as a trio. Yeah. They had communication and discussion, and it was a nice touch that they weren't like super spiteful. And she's like, oh, maybe I'll be the star one day. But you're not wrong that,
Yeah. Although they certainly gave the impression that they could not sing for shit.
No, like, they cannot.
But how successful is your idol group going to be if 2 out of the 3 members can't sing? I feel like that's a pretty major thing.
They can't write music either.
Established songs, yeah.
Every idol song in Japan is written by like 8 people. So
I mean, I think they did a pretty good job of saying, like, clearly being an idol is not about the music. It's the performance, it's the dance, it's the image. And yes, we have 66%. I'm doing all kinds of math today. 66% of this group is musically untalented. But that's not what makes an idol group successful. And like, they didn't even have their own dances or own songs for a while. Let's not even get into the convenience of having a YouTuber at this production industry that happens to hide his face so that we can have Aqua hide his face to coach them. And like, once again, this was all about convenience. This was, I want to tell a story about a reality show and I want to tell a story about an idol show. How can I connect those as simply as possible with nothing needing to make much sense between them? That's how this was constructed. And that's what bothers me. As far as once we got into each arc, I thought they were fine. They told their stories. They hit their emotional peaks. They were stylish. They had flair. And then they moved on to the next one. And it was just a really herky-jerk show. But that's
the transitions were not great. In terms of other characters, I was not huge on them. I really did not. I mean, her character design was probably the main thing, because the hair, it just bothers me.
The eternal cat mouth.
Yeah, the cat mouth, and the fact that they like consistently they're like, oh wow, she's so pretty, she's so hot. I'm like, I don't really see it. She's kind of the out of everyone in the group, she's not necessarily pretty.
What about superpowers of acting? Oh, I can throw my voice to sound like that YouTuber with the duck face. Oh, that's acting. Akane can just look at a couple videos of Ai and be like, I'm a master actor, so I know everything about her and can do my own eye sparkle and Like, I get that the eye sparkle was just not literally there, but just for her to be like, I can immediately wow you by being a little ditzy. Actors are so cool. It just felt a little convenient. Once again, that's what I keep on coming back to.
I feel like this anime is pretty much just about like the characters and how pretty they are, but
they're not complex or good.
Well, no, I'm not arguing that.
I know.
That's my whole point. I'm just saying the whole anime.
I really liked I thought, I mean, they're not complex, but she's probably the most complex out of all of them, given her background as a person and her childhood.
Her and Miyako, the foster mother, like, she at least has some range of, like, she doesn't like the kids, she likes them, she can't help but like them, she, like, teaches them and coaches them and manages them. Like, she has some multifaceted phases of the moon to her character, but I think we're struggling with this review because we can see things that it does well and things that it doesn't, and we're trying to, like, parse how those pieces fit together.
I'm not struggling with this review. This anime is basically just your generic self-insert fantasy anime mixed with wake-up girls. Honestly, it's like, oh, I got reincarnated as an idol's baby, like every otaku's dream, right? But now it has pretty waifus. Like, that's pretty much what this is. That's not to say it's good or bad, but it's not like there's a lot of complexity here. It's just basically a blend of two genres.
Sure, but it's a blend we don't often get, and it has different tones and messages that we don't get slammed down our throat every season in anime.
I can't tell if you like this or not.
Me neither.
I keep criticizing it. And you keep arguing with me, and then you go off on your own and you say it's bad. So it's
not good, but it does things well.
Yeah.
What I want to know is why all half the characters in this show have glass eyes. That's pretty weird.
It's the art style.
It's not physically there. It's symbolic. It's
obnoxious.
Symbolism. What is the symbolism?
There's not this Ruby, for example, who is probably the cutest character in the show, is extremely difficult to look at because she has a fucked up eye. You might like it, you might not like it, but her eyes are obnoxious. Her smile's great, her hair is great, her personality's great. The eye color's great. It's cliche that she's called Ruby and her eyes are red, and Aquamarine is called Aquamarine, but his eyes just happen to be aquamarine color. But put aside, Ruby's extremely cute as a character, but like I look at her and her face is just so asymmetrical because she's got one eyeball that looks totally different that it's like taking heterochromia and taking it to like the most extreme point possible. And it's just hard to look at. Like, they say that a person's face is beautiful because of symmetry. Well, this is like a girl having like a golf club sticking out of her eyeball. Like, I don't know, just your whole face is just drawn to her eye. Like, when you look at her picture, your eyes are drawn to that spot on her face, and it just makes her face look super asymmetrical, and it's just bizarre. I'm just not a fan.
And that's fair. That's a design choice. I figured you just liked Ruby because she went after them titties at the beginning.
It looked better on Ai Hoshino because at least she had it in both eyes. And that's
what Caroline was saying.
Yeah, I mean, that eye is she's got a good design. She's very memorable, but
no one has never seen the show and was very confused why you've said I 7,000 times in the last sentence. But no, I don't think you're wrong. It's just a choice that they made.
Someone made it. One of you made a comment just a second ago. I can't remember what it was, but I wanted to follow up on that.
Good, because I know what you're thinking about, and I'm not going to say it.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, we don't need to get into it, but like,
no.
What? Oh,
it's just I can tastefully do this. Okay. It's just funny do it. It's just funny the mental gymnastics that fans of an anime will go through to like defend their anime, and then it just gets frustrating. And I'm like, it's just a cartoon. Like, you don't need to, go on like a 45-minute TLDR like rant. I made the comment of like, oh boy, now this full-grown otaku who's an otaku mentally in a baby's body gets to do the jobless reincarnation reenactment of what babies do with their mom when they're hungry. I'm being very PC for Caroline, and the answer was like, oh well, some babies don't take to that. And I'm like, well, okay, again, probably a really small percent, but that's not the point. And it's like, well, she might bottle feed the male baby very conveniently, but she's still, it's still the milk, you know. You're not going to feed one baby.
I don't think the milk is the problem, though. He just doesn't. He's uncomfortable with the image of the suckling on her boob when she's effectively his crush.
No, I know. It's not even.
He's 30 something years old.
I'm not even talking about
like
the
60.
anime. I'm talking about the fans of the anime. The fans of the anime are like, oh, he would definitely have formula or something. Like, no, if a mother believes in breastfeeding, she's gonna give the other baby. She's gonna pump and put it in a bottle.
The discussion on Discord. If you're talking about the discussion on Discord that we had about this, I don't think anybody was making the point that like, oh, he had to have formula. I think you just made that up in your head and you assumed that that's what people were talking about. We were just talking about the fact that he doesn't want to suck on our boob for the reason that he doesn't feel like being a pervert.
Caroline said suck on her boob.
He doesn't want to go full on pervert.
Suck on her boob. Just left Caroline's lips. That is funny. What have we done?
That's what babies do.
I know that. It's not even important. It's stupid.
Is there any other thoughts?
But yeah, there was a huge discussion back and forth about this very minor part.
Well, there was
because I don't know.
There was a point where like a fan was like, "Look at Ai Hoshino. Did her breasts get like huge?" Do you guys pick that moment up when she first returned to the stage?
I don't think I remember that part.
Yeah. It's in the anime.
Wait. Yeah. Now I remember
and
that
I'm like,
part.
Yeah. She either got implants or got pregnant because it doesn't. It says you don't just get massive breasts if your like actual body size hasn't changed. So no one thought that was odd, and nobody thought this like 85-pound idol getting pregnant wasn't going to be like incredibly obvious when she was pregnant. You're gonna see it.
It's very lucky that she did not get found out because I feel like she
was
would have
enormous.
Found out very easily.
She was huge. I mean, she was double her original body.
She had a hat on, Mitsuki, and sunglasses.
Oh my god, in a loose fitting like dress or something. But oh my god, yeah, I liked Akane. She was my favorite character. She's just I don't know.
Yeah, she was pretty good. I enjoyed her, or not enjoyed, but like I thought it was a good story arc she had. But I feel like they kind of changed my opinion about her because, you know, she was very sympathetic with her storyline with depression and all that. Mm-hmm. But then they kind of made her look insane by the end of the season with her like changing personalities and like her rivalry with Kana. And like especially in that last episode, I'm like, holy shit! Like, look at that, she has crazy in her eyes.
Caroline, you can do anything if you have a crush on Aqua and you're an actor.
Oh God!
The world is your oyster. That's all it takes.
The one thing that boy is missing is the black hair, and then.
Well, look, once in a blue moon, I'll make a comment that actually is thoughtful. So it's probably just because they're trying to show that the people in this industry are incredibly fake, and they'll do anything to get ahead. Like you're not really who you. Aqua's fake the whole fucking show. He's fucking playing make-believe the whole time. It's just like, I feel like the people in this industry are like, they have a face, they have many faces. There's a face for camera, there's a face in the dressing room, there's a face with your fans, and then then there's how you really are. And, you know, that may be why Akane's like that. You know, she acts one way and then in a different setting, she's a different human. So,
I mean, I think
sucks.
At its core, the show is trying to say, look, a lot of the idol and acting and entertainment industry has very bad moments and people and stuff in it. But really, the majority of the people working the sets on the reality show are just trying their best for themselves, their careers, and stuff like that. And the way that the cast comes together to try to help her, the way in the TV drama, like the director and the lighting and the sound guy, like they all know they're working on a crummy script, but they're trying their best. They're doing their job. Like, it's not all bad. And I think it's finding, like the show, the gems in an otherwise not so great kind of seedy industry. So I think there's a bit of hope and positive nature to this besides just everything is awful. It's not one note. And I do applaud the show for that, you know, portrayal of it. But I don't know.
Well, the show's not awful. It's just totally carried by the characters in it. There's not really much of a narrative, in my opinion. I mean, they didn't even get to the murder mystery. And the rest of it's just basically wake-up girls. Like, here's my gig, here's another gig, another gig, another gig. Oh, the industry's evil. It's very bad. Gig, gig, gig. But with prettier characters. Feel bad for the animators that had to do all the eyes. All the eyes in this. To be honest with you,
They did do a good job with them.
They used to say that like the animators and like keyframe animators and stuff were basically going bankrupt because they couldn't make enough. They couldn't draw enough frames because doing an anime eye takes like 30 minutes or something. Like it takes more time to do the eyes than the entire rest of the image combined or something ridiculous. I don't know. I thought this anime was fine. Not really. I mean, there's just not a lot to it. I really wonder how smart the murder mystery will get. Because like, oh yeah, picking up a cigarette butt in a pile of like 500 of them isn't really that smart. Like you're not starting off on a good foot. Like writing, they say that the murder mystery is only as smart as the writer. You've heard that cliche.
I sure hope that comes back because there's no way that's not his cigarette butt. If the writer wanted to make it clear that he picked up the right cigarette butt, he would just have a normal ashtray, not a barrel with holes in it that lead to like a bunch of cigarettes. Like that doesn't. I feel like that's gonna have to come back up if
I hope so.
It means anything, because otherwise it would be dumb.
I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't seen much of it, but I feel like this anime is basically like Ouran High School Host Club. Here's a school full of all these famous kids that are all great actors and shit. Now they're gonna do stuff, and look how pretty they are. Yes?
I really don't think that was Ouran High School Host Club at all.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, what did you think of those snake eyes, Mitsugi?
Not good.
Those were a little more threw me for a loop.
Not good.
What snake eyes?
The lady with the dark black hair who was talking about how if I was on the reality show, I would pin down the girls and have my way with them. And she was like a one-off, hyper-popular character in she had black school.
Hair. She had like two that lady. I don't remember her saying that, but the one with the green eyes.
Yes.
And everyone's saying like, "Wow, she's such a beautiful model.
Yeah.
Like so gorgeous. The Madonna of the school. She's freaking creepy."
Yeah, it's an artistic choice. I will defer that to you guys to decide what you think. Do we want to score this thing?
Yeah, I can.
All right.
Any strong opinions on who goes first, or Caroline, do you want to just swing the bat?
I'll go first. Okay, so as I mentioned before, I am very conflicted with this anime because we did shit on it a lot, and there are a lot of things that don't make sense, that don't work very well, but I did enjoy watching it, and there are things I do like. The art style is really good. I like the star eyes, at least on Ai. Ai is awesome, even though she's not in it for very long. Kana, I love her. The OP and the ED are great. The first episode is really good, and there are some other good episodes mixed in with the rest of the season. There are, again, some things that don't make sense. Like, why is this random hospital in the boonies caring for a terminally ill girl? I feel like she should not be there.
I think it's the only place where no one would notice her.
No, I understand her being there, but I'm talking about the girl.
Oh, the other person.
Ruby.
Future Ruby.
Yeah, future Ruby. It's like, are you not going to be in like a city hospital or something? Cause,
I mean, there's literally nothing about that entire scenario at the beginning of this anime that makes any sense. It's just impossible.
But overall, there's just a lot of interesting things that I like about this show, and people might not think so otherwise, Mitsuki. And that's fine. I get it, because we did shit on it for quite a bit. And originally, I was going to give this show a 4, but like when I finished it, that's what I thought. But then I thought more about it, and when I was trying to make up my pros and cons list, like I realized I couldn't really put what I liked about it into words very well. So with that, I'm going to give this show a 3.5. Baking soda lickings out of 5. I don't understand that joke. Is that like a reference to something?
I think it's very much a translational thing.
Okay, because I was like, is she serious? Does she bake? Or does she lick baking soda?
There's a couple different versions in the manga, and they're each translated differently based on who's doing the subs or translate. So I think they just, at some point, were like, it's a funny image. Let's stick with that.
Yeah, it really is.
You want to go next, Mitz, or should I?
This anime is fine. It's not original, really. I don't think it is. I mean, shit. I mean, if this anime is original, then I can take any anime like tropey plot line and just throw a reincarnation at the beginning of it and say it's original.
Well,
So,
now you're getting it.
I don't really think this is original. It's like, a kid goes to a magical academy to learn, magic, like in Mashal. Oh, but that's Harry Potter. Oh no, it's not. He's reincarnated. Oh my God, groundbreaking. I think this anime exists based on the characters. If you go on my anime list and you click on the characters in the show and you look at like how many people have marked them as their favorite, like it's a pretty high number of people. I mean, Hoshino and Aqua are probably in the top 25 characters of all time as far as popularity based on this website, based on that metric. But I don't know. I don't think that there's a lot to this anime. I think this anime clearly goes in the category of it's really pretty, and so it's just, it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. So it gets a great amount of hype, and really, I think I just expected a little more than 15 episodes of runtime of basically just trying to launch your career as a public figure. I mean, I don't know. It just didn't jump out as being unique or well written enough to have that much talk, I guess. But I do see why people like it. I don't think it's horrible. I don't think that it's really for me. I heard someone on Twitch saying that they've been doing the manga for it took them a while to get to the actual murder mystery part of this, and I was talking with Pancake and I said, this anime isn't going to get to that because I'm on episode 5 and there's no way they're getting through the entire mystery subplot in only 5 episodes. So prepare yourself for them waiting around till season 3 or 4 until they do that. And that's what's going to happen here. I'm sure we already announced there's another season coming, and you're probably not going to get the plot line to completion there either. So you're just going to be waiting for a long time, and I think that's really unfortunate. And I probably won't be there for it, to be honest with you. But this anime is fine. I'm going to give it 3... Oh, wait a second. I'm going to order 3 eye patches. I'm ordering on Amazon right now. Let's see, eye patches. You can order an eye patch on Amazon for very little money. Wow. $9.96. Perfect. They got one in red and one in blue. We're all set. Ordering them right now. Out of 5.
We'll wear them for the next show.
I just might.
One on each eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, similar to what Mitt said. I mean, the second in episode 9 that they were forming this idol group, and they're like, oh, we can conveniently get onto the next billing of this massive stage and this popular thing. I'm like, well, that's how the season's going to end. The second they knew that, I'm like, there's the next 3 episodes. They're going to prepare, they're going to argue a bit, they're going to pull together, and they're going to perform. And that's exactly how it played out. This show, I originally had it as a 3.5, as I was watching it, because I do think it was doing things right. I don't think it's original, like Mitt said, but I think it has a different flavoring, just a seasoning to it that felt unique and fresh, and something that I liked and I enjoyed. I was never like, oh, I gotta watch another episode of this show. I was like, yeah, let's watch another episode. And then I would watch it and be like, I saw where it was going, but man, it just irked me more than it invigorated me. And I think it really will be, in a lot of ways, a flash in the pan, as in it looked brilliant and sparkling and it was majestic, and then it dies out and you're kind of left looking at the ashes and you're like, was it really all that great? And the more I sit with it, the more I just feel like it's not hitting the marks that I think it could have. And in the words of Aqua himself, this show might go on to have more amazing seasons, so it would be a waste to give high marks straight away. I'm going to give this 3 glow sticks dancing out of 5.
The babies dancing with the glow sticks were hilarious.
The babies dancing with the glow sticks were pretty good. I'll give it that. There were just a lot of moments that hit, but the details and the overall picture leaves a bit to be desired. So, little harsh on Oshinoko. Sorry, what was that?
There's another thing that I was thinking about. You would think that the production, it was a production company that they were signed to, Strawberry Productions.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. You would think that they would have a little bit more hands-on with the decision-making of their brand new idol group. I realize that, that's not what they're focused on, but there's a lot of marketing involved with who's in the idol group, who is going to be in the center, what the name's going to be. And also, they just left them high and dry with no choreographer, no song people, nothing. Like, they were doing all the work by themselves. They were just under this production company for the name.
Where the hell were
That
Ai's
is all
parents?
they are. I'm guessing that are you asking about Ai's parents?
Yeah.
She was in a child's home. Like, her mom dropped her off and never picked her up. They talked about that. She was abandoned.
Yeah, it's part of her quest for finding love at all, which is why she kept the kid. Yeah, we don't need to get back into that.
Okay.
Yeah, we did it, everybody. That was episode 684 of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. Hopefully, we didn't make you too mad. Hopefully, you had a good time listening.
I feel like
Hopefully,
people are going to be upset about this review.
you have a fun top 10 list to throw our way, or you want us to make our own. And hopefully, you liked Oshinoko more than we did, because if not, that's just a bummer. You can find us on Twitter, on Facebook, on Discord. That's the moneymaker. And on TikTok. Really just go to AAApodcast.com. Not only can you find links to all that stuff, but also find out our bonus episodes and contents, which are a bunch of fun. We're going to review the hentai that Mitz was watching during this show, so you can find out how that bondage is. Next week, we'll be doing a review of Hell's Paradise, so we'll see how that one ends up. And I just hope you have a really good week, and
Happy 4th of
we
July.
appreciate you. Set off some fireworks.
Hope it doesn't rain.
We'll appreciate
Safely.
it.
Do it safely, please. And if you haven't already, go check out our meetup on Saturday, July 8th. If you'd like to join us in Manhattan, you just fill out the RSVP form on Discord. Go to General. It's in the pinned notes. And there you have it. See you later.
Vote in the Waifu Wars. See ya.